good to know. I think our plans should be good. I hope our plans are good from now on.
Yeah.
But we did ask on Twitter for you guys to ask a bunch of questions. We asked what you wanted to know. It's been a little bit since we've done a Q&A.
Yeah.
I've actually been thinking about doing more Q&A stuff again, but we wanted to do some on Waveform. Mac heard me say, all right, and he is now staring at me.
ready to
Like,
go.
Are we about to, what's going on?
Lay down,
5
bud.
p.m., buddy.
Yeah, we're just going to answer some questions from you guys from Twitter. So I'm going to open the tweet and find some, and we can just
Oh, we
get
have
into it.
a bunch listed
idea.
already too. I could just hop right in.
I was trying to give the impression that we're doing this live.
Just kidding.
I was gonna do this,
just
like-
opened Twitter and
Yeah.
found a bunch of
Let's
totally
just check some
random
tweets
questions.
out, you know? Let's just check them out. We didn't vet
we,
these.
curtain has
we like to
been
put a
lifted.
little bit of effort into
I haven't
this
actually seen them.
podcast.
Yeah, it's, they're live for me.
I have the first one, and this is a question we get asked all the time, so I think this is the best place to just put the nail in the coffin. Genuine question: why do you guys wear headphones? To hear yourself, won't that be annoying? I've been watching the content, been listening to the podcast since the beginning. Thank you so much. So,
Why do we wear headphones on the podcast?
Yes.
Basically to monitor our levels
yeah,
and to hear what you guys hear, to make sure we're not too far away and start sounding like this, or we're starting popping and making weird noises directly into the mic. We can sort of monitor ourselves. And sorry for audio listeners that I had to demo that. But
I mean, there's also other things like we work in an area that has a lot of outside noise, so sometimes rather than continue on a really long like train of thought or have Adam have to tell us to stop, it's easier to hear that then and just know like maybe I should give this a second and we'll wait for that noise to go. Also,
Unless you're David, who just talked through 2 trucks driving by.
yeah, like you'll probably
we all heard
it
it.
gets a little more hectic with 3 people, but also
I was in
Adam's
the zone, man.
Adam's desk is like a little over, so it's easier for us then to communicate to each other. Also, like just because you hear it on the podcast, we talk about a bunch of other stuff. We have to go over the ads we're doing later. We have to go over when we're doing ad breaks, and it just makes it easier for all of us to communicate while we're right here.
We can't all be Adam and see the levels all the time
Yeah.
on a board. So,
yeah, gosh.
all right, I got another one here. When do you listen to podcasts, and how have your listening habits evolved over the years? Mine is very specific.
I think this is a really good question because my habits have changed so much because of COVID, or did at least
Yeah,
for a little
right.
while. Like,
I only listen to podcasts when I am traveling over 20 miles per hour. Meaning I'm either on a plane or driving. I don't listen to podcasts any other time other than traveling.
What if you're in traffic and you're going like 5 miles per hour?
It just pauses.
yeah, New York
directly
City
linked.
traffic.
It's
yeah.
GPS linked.
Do you not like if you're like riding a bike or anything or going for a run?
Music.
Or do you run really fast?
I run. I don't actually go for runs. I bike because my knees are
I'm with you on
accelerated
that.
a
aged.
good idea.
But I'm a music person during workouts.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Actually, I just watch TV when I bike.
Yeah, or that.
What
Yeah,
about
I-
when you're cleaning?
You watch TV when you're biking down the
Cleaning?
street?
Yeah.
That seems dangerous.
I just like, you just peer through all the neighbors' windows. It's not very,
They're
you
all
don't
watching the same
follow
thing,
through
and
much.
It's like
yeah.
frame by frame.
I think I mostly only listen to my podcast, when I'm traveling, like commuting or like traveling. Even traveling on the plane, I don't listen too much. So when COVID stopped, I basically stopped listening to anything, like completely stopped.
Wow.
Yeah. Even like video podcasts, like I listen to the H3 podcast all the time, and that's almost like more of a show because if it's all video, but I still only ever really listen to that. And if there's a part that I like really wanted to watch, I'll just make sure I hit the clips channel after and like watch that later. But yeah, I feel like it needs to be something that's going on for at least 20 minutes for me to get into enough of a podcast.
I need to be in motion too to listen to podcasts, but it's usually walking that I listen to podcasts. And then now when I'm driving to work, I usually listen to podcasts. There's always like daily morning podcasts and Radio Lab and all that stuff. But the hour commute to work is a good amount of time to get through like a thick, good podcast. And then when I'm walking to my coffee shop in the morning, which is a 5-minute walk, I listen to 5 minutes, get my coffee, talk to everyone there for an hour, 5 minutes back to my car, and then I start again. So
yeah.
That is good.
to be specific.
During not during Waveform, during COVID, I would very specifically walk the dog for
Same
like
thing.
one daily episode. Something like that. Like a daily episode is usually like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
you
that was like
gotta
a
find-
perfect amount to go
And
take
then you
the
get
dog
slightly
for a walk.
depressed, and then
Exactly. It was that time too, man. It was a rough time.
You do got to find the podcast that's the right length to not
helps.
finish. If you're halfway through a podcast, when you finish your walk, it's like, why did I even start? I need
Well,
to finish
you
it.
either have to finish like half, like in equal parts through it. So like halfway through it, or
Yeah.
you have to finish it. If you finish and there's like 10 minutes
Three,
left.
yeah.
That's that weird, like, am I going to sit in my driveway now for 10 minutes or
Yeah.
am I going to start this and then still have 70% of my next commute with
The
something
only
else?
episode that of any podcast I've ever done that for was, I've said this before, the Reply All episode,
Long
which is the
distance.
2-part long distance
Yeah.
episode.
yeah.
Got home, sat in my driveway, and just sat there riveted. It was great. Shout out to Reply All. All right, there's more questions.
Yeah, I have another one. Sticking to the Waveform podcast stuff, how long does it usually take to release a Waveform podcast episode? I think I'll answer the first part. And Adam, do you want to answer the second part?
Should I record this on my phone and then we can stitch that in like a video of Adam across the room? The Adam cast?
The Adam cast.
Adam Cam.
Adam cast.
In terms of like writing it, I usually take Monday, Tuesday to write it. And that's pretty much just like, actually all of us, we have a Waveform channel on Slack. Everyone posts just like kind of random articles they've seen that are interested in that aren't quite
Topic gathering.
yeah, like topic gathering that we
Scraping
probably
together.
won't make a full video on. Like, and then all those go into a doc. Usually Monday, Tuesday, I kind of put it all together, grab the ads, get them all in documents. Wednesday, all of us sit down and shoot.
Today's Wednesday.
And then today is Wednesday. And then right when we leave from here, Adam is the rest of the stuff on that.
Yeah, so then after everyone shoots in here, I pull everything into the computer and I import it. And the rest of Wednesday, I dedicate to cleaning audio. Then I sync everything up Thursday morning when I come in, and I spend all day Thursday chopping up the video, making sure that there's graphics to go and making sure that the title's good, the thumbnail, all that stuff ready to go for Friday because we publish at 4 a.m. Eastern time. But then there's also the longer episodes, like David and I are working on one right now that could take months.
Yeah,
like,
you guys will research
Yeah.
things for a long time.
Yeah, like-
yeah, we're done with interviews for that, and I think just chopping it up and doing all that stuff is going to take like another
like
month.
just interviews. Today is January 26th, and we started that when we got back from break.
Yeah.
So it's been like 3 weeks of constantly
Just
emailing and
interviews
interviewing
yeah.
people.
And then we have to actually record it with you guys, and then we have to
Yeah.
cut that. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got the background big
So
projects.
I'd say
Yeah.
most episodes a week, pretty much start to finish, of like total start to total finish. And I mean, we all work together, but that's the main gist of it. And then some episodes when these guys are doing a ton of research, a month or two. Yeah, they could be really long. I'll just hop into the next one since I have it here.
Yeah.
What was MKBHD? But I'll have all of us answer this. Favorite video he's ever made, or the most fun video you've ever made?
Reviewing Mac.
I think that's the same answer for most of us. That or Bixby speaker. If we're talking about fun, like we probably had
That was
most fun
fun
making
to
those.
make because we knew the result we wanted in mind. But as far as fun during a shoot, nothing
Yeah.
tops shooting Mac for an entire day.
And Mac came out exactly how we wanted it to.
Yeah.
Also, it
It's
like
great.
just was so good.
Yeah, easy. I have one for David actually.
Oh,
How has your Pixel 6 experience gotten any better after the January update?
yeah.
I have a very brief answer because I've used Pixel 6 a little bit since I got the update, really
Yeah.
only for a day.
Yeah.
Less bugs total,
Yeah.
still bugs.
Yeah.
I had an entire system UI crash the day after the update.
Oof.
It's not fixed, but it's
Yeah.
better.
I used it for 2 days after the update.
Okay.
So not a lot. A lot of the bugs that were like, I literally switched off of the Pixel 6 Pro because it had so many bugs. Like
Same.
I tried to keep on it, but over time it just got more and more and more buggy to the point where I like couldn't use it anymore. And I think the January update came out like a week after I switched off of it. Switched back to it for like 2 to 3 days, and it felt like a majority of the like I can't use this phone anymore bugs sort of went away. But there are still just random issues like
Yeah.
like my all my widgets that I use in Material U. Every time I swipe back to the home screen, they're just not there, and then 3 seconds later they load in. Or
They
like
dump from RAM every time you go
every
home.
time I go home.
That's like not an issue that happens on most phones.
Yeah.
It's like a very basic thing. Like my
Yeah.
biggest bug, which was frame rate drops, did seem to fix. So I had my animation specs back set to regular speed. I was dropping to like basically 60 hertz all the time on the 6 Pro. I didn't want to force 120 hertz all the time because then your battery life just dumps. But after the update, seems like that part is fine. It still has some occasional hiccups and drops, but at least it's not 60 all the time.
Yeah, Adam is using the regular Pixel 6, and
Yeah.
he said that he like just can't open certain apps sometimes. They just won't open.
Yeah, Instagram just keeps crashing on me.
Twitter keeps crashing on, but that's on several phones. So
Yeah,
that's a
Twitter has
thing.
been crashing on me for
That's
years
a
now.
Twitter issue. Yeah.
Evergreen.
Evergreen.
I have one that I like kind of for Marquez, but I also like I think it's a cool question. What are your thoughts on spending more purely for aesthetic purposes? Example, buying an iPad Pro when an Air would be totally fine, but you just prefer the squared off camera bump. Something like that.
Ooh, interesting.
And I know you've done this before. You've definitely spent more money
Totally.
specifically because, and I think we all have probably.
It's interesting because a lot of times the better thing is also better looking.
True.
So it will usually be one of the bullet points that makes me spend more. Like if we use the iPad example, I agree that the iPad Pro looks better, but I also like really like the 120 hertz display. So there's things. Yeah, I don't know if I would ever, if the only difference was aesthetics, it would really just be like, how much extra are we talking here?
Right.
Because the iPad Pro is $900, $1,000, and the iPad Air is not anywhere
Yeah.
near that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend.
You're
just,
basically getting 120 hertz, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, I would, if it was just aesthetics, that's a tough sell.
Yeah, I guess it's more like if this would be fine for you and you are getting some extra things, but you're like, that looks so much better. I kind of see it as like, whenever I'm making a big purchasing decision, it's like I'm willing to spend all this money and I've done a ton of research on it. And do I think just because that thing looks better, like when I get this thing, I still spend, because an iPad Air is still expensive. Like it's still a big purchase.
Yep.
Are you going to get that and then just constantly wish you had the other thing? And like in
Right.
that sense, I think I'd
Aesthetics.
rather spend the extra money so I'm not disappointed with the thing I still spent a ton of money on.
I think that a lot of people sort of try to pretend that the aesthetics of a device has nothing to do with the functionality or the like how much you like it. But like they wouldn't make phones glass if they didn't want it to be aesthetic. They wouldn't like make the colors a big deal. People, the amount that I go on Twitter and I see people just being like, that color is so hot, definitely gonna cop. It's like the color is important to people, which is sort of ironic considering they put cases on like every phone.
That's also funny.
But if I was buying a product, like because I'm going to use it every day, kind of like you had mentioned, Andrew, like you have to weigh over X period of time, what's the amount of money I'm willing to spend just to be like, I like how this looks more, and I'm not wishing that I got the other one.
Yeah, if you're wishing you had the other thing, you're gonna have a bad experience with that. So like,
It's part of your overall experience, whether or not you want to admit it or not. It doesn't
Exactly.
really matter with the chipset and the RAM. Like that's part
Yeah,
of the experience too.
I have many thoughts that
in
just
the
come to my head. One of them was it really depends on the product, like on what that is. Like if it's a car, people spend more on aesthetics all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you can just add an option that looks cool, whatever. The other thing is, I think because we're nerds and we like really priding ourselves in like the best tech and like using the most functional thing, we try to like jade ourselves into thinking like we're not getting it because it's hot looking, but like some phones just look really good and we're like very happy that it's also a good phone. And also I just thought of the opposite thing, which is I am currently using the Apple Watch Series 7, which doesn't come in black. It's dark blue, but the 15% faster charging is so damn useful for me that I just use it now. I prefer the previous watch with less curved screens and with the actual black finish. But I use the one that I don't like aesthetically as much because it's more functional. I don't hate it, but
it would be fun to find a more perfect example of this so we could really see what that price cutoff is of like, what am I willing to, like if the S21 Ultra, you could get it in, did they make the purple and gold Ultra?
no.
Let's say they did, because I know you don't love that.
Right.
And for $200 more, you could get the matte black version.
$200.
I mean, it's like $1,000 phone already. So
Yeah, in a world where I'm not
20%?
testing new phones every week or whatever,
yeah,
and I'm like, I'm
that's your
committing to
purchase
this
decision.
phone for the next 2 years, I'd spend that.
Yeah.
Like they do work that into the pricing though, right? Like the Huawei Mate Flip or what are they called?
P50 Pocket.
The Huawei P50 Pocket has
It's not a bad
a
name.
gold color version that is called Gold Special Edition or something like that.
Costs more.
Costs quite a bit more. Does it have any extra RAM or anything? Do they even mention that?
I don't know. I was thinking there's no way. I think it's at least $200 more.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I think it is $200 more.
There's got to be something else to it other than just the color.
And
I have not confirmed that yet.
One,
but
it might not. But two, a lot of the time manufacturers will make something a nicer color and maybe put in like 2 extra gigs of RAM because then people want it, but they can justify it by saying, I get more RAM, even if that RAM is not worth $200.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a scheme.
Yeah, you get the super ultra deluxe special edition, which looks way hotter, and then has
little bit better
A little bit
specs.
more RAM. And
So
you're
you
like,
could
well,
just
it's
I
better,
need
so
that.
that's why I got it. That's
It's
why
easier
I got
for
it.
people to justify to other people that they got something for functional purposes than they got it just for aesthetic purposes. That's why.
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you guys for watching the Clips channel. We wouldn't be here without you. But if you want this to magically turn gold, press that subscribe button.
I see what you did there.
I think the like button helps too, right? Just test it out for me. Let me know in the comments.
It's
if it
one of those
works.
buttons down there.
It's definitely one of them.
The dislike button could. Oh wait.
That one doesn't do
We
anything.
wouldn't know. Well, we would know. You wouldn't know.
We would know.
Thanks. Okay.